The highly respected, highly sought after 100K job. Usually when we think of someone who has a 100K plus job, we think of someone who is a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or someone in tech. I wasn't in any of those fields, but I was able to land a 100K job at age 26. I'll tell you the story of how I was able to get that job, and then at the end of the story, I'll talk about some key takeaways I think contributed to me landing that job. So about 6 years ago, I was 26 years old and I was making about $55,000 a year. I was in a regular office job where I was something called a site planner. So basically what the site planner did was that they created drawings and other technical documentation to help with the installation and sale of medical devices. So I had been there for about 2 years when another position opened up called the SDC, or Solution Delivery Consultant. So basically what the SDC did was they were the technical salesperson that helped the sales lead in the technical aspects of selling medical devices. So like in a lot of ways it was one of my dream jobs because it was work from home, you got a company car, you got to travel sometimes, and it was a pretty good paying job. So before I get into it, let me just talk about how luck played a huge factor in me getting this position. So some of the requirements of this job was that you needed 4 years of relevant work experience. I had 4.5 years. The job also required a network certification, which I happened to get about a year beforehand. And this was the type of job that came up once every 5 years or so. And I had only been working at my current position for about 2 years when this job had opened up. So right away, I knew this was a huge opportunity. And when it came up, I really wanted it bad. I really wanted this job. So I applied for the position and then I was given a chance to interview. So the format of that interview was that it was a panel interview where I would create a presentation and present that presentation in front of the panel, where the topic of that presentation was just me selling myself. And I really liked the format of this interview because it allowed me to level the playing field through preparation. Because even though I had the required work experience, I was underqualified compared to the rest of the people that I was applying against. So through preparation, I was able to level the playing field. I prepared like a madman for that interview. So the preparation consisted of me creating the presentation, practicing it over and over again, recording myself, practicing it in front of other people, anticipating any questions that may come up. And that must have taken about 30 hours of preparation. And the day before I had the interview, I took the day off from my normal job and I just went home and just prepared and practiced anticipated questions. When I was driving towards the interview, I was practicing. So I just really wanted it badly. I had previously randomly seen a video on TED Talks about how you can kind of influence your mind, psych out your mind when by using different body poses. So what I did so basically what the lady talked about on the TED Talks is that you can do a victory pose like this, where if you did that, you basically kind of trick your mind into thinking that you're a winner. So right before I got into the interview, before I was called up, I went into the bathroom and I just went into the bathroom stall, closed it, and I was just like victory posing for like 30 seconds before I got in. And I think it helped, it didn't play a huge role, but I think everything helps. So I did that. I went into the interview, and if you got into enough interviews, you can, you sometimes you get this feeling after the interview that you really nailed it. And when I came out of that interview, I felt like I nailed that interview. Sure enough, the recruiter called me a couple days later and she told me that I had made it through to the second round interview. And I was freaking ecstatic about that. So the good news about that too was that it was just between me and another person. The bad news was that the other person I was applying against, he was 25. He had 25 years of relevant job experience, and he was super knowledgeable, very good reputation, and he was really just like perfect for the job. So So I still felt like a underdog, but you know, it wasn't that gonna stop me from preparing as much as I could. So I prepared probably like another 6 hours for just the phone interview. You know, not the 30 hours because this is just a phone interview with one person. But what I did was that I hired a career coach, and I basically, you know, went over my resume with her, and then I had a mock interview with her, and I took her pointers, and then I basically started practicing my answers over and over again. I recorded myself, things like that. And even though it was just a phone interview, I had read somewhere, or maybe it was on TED Talks, where that if you wear a suit while you talk on the phone, it can help you with your confidence. And if you stand up while you're talking, it also helps with your confidence. So I went in, I was in my cubicle because I didn't want to talk on my cell phone because I didn't want to have like bad cell reception or bad audio when talking to the director. So I just took my interview standing up inside my cubicle in front of in the middle of the office, and you know, I did really well there too. So I did so well that the director informally offered me the job verbally over the phone before we hung up, and eventually the recruiter called me and formally offered me the job. So I did it. I freaking did it. I was ecstatic, super happy. I remember looking out for the next like a couple months or so. I remember looking out and thinking like, this is what it feels like to have a 100K job. Like I knew that I was eventually gonna get there one day, but I finally got to feel like how it felt to have that type of job. And even though it was a lot, I think I would even contribute about 80% luck and 20% skill and preparation. But in order for me to get to that 100%, I still had to put in a ton of work. And not just the work in preparation, like the 30 hours before the first presentation, first interview, and the 6 hours for the second interview. It was the 2 years of being a high performer at my job. I wouldn't say I worked my ass off for 2 years, but I was moderately hardworking at my position, or developed a pretty good reputation on the field. And it was also the months of study to get that network certification. There's a saying that luck happens when opportunity meets preparation. And I'm a big believer in that saying. And it's not just preparation in terms of working hard and learning stuff. It's also the preparation in terms of saving your money so that you have the opportunity to invest it. If there's a good investment opportunity, you need the money in order to take advantage of it. Also, if you want to start your own business, sometimes you have to be prepared to not take income for 1 year. So you need to be able to save your money in order to take advantage of a business opportunity as well. So just to recap, some of the key takeaways of how I was able to land that 100K job is number one, which I didn't really talk about, but if it's not too late for you, study in a field in which when you graduate, you will graduate with a marketable skill. So that'll be like engineering, accounting, computer science, something else like that. Number two would be get good at interviewing. So buy a book on interviewing, read about it, watch videos on interviewing, practice a lot. Number three is when opportunity comes, you have to chase it like crazy through either research or researching the company, the position, and practicing like crazy. If you like this video and you want more videos like this, give this video a like. My channel covers personal finance and financial education. So if those topics are of interest to you, click on the subscribe button below.